Hello, everybody. My name is Mario Blandini at Drobo, and this broadcast covers a session on our new family of products from Drobo. We have a launch tagline of Drobo Means Business, and includes a collection of products in a new product family, as well as services and software that help make Drobo even more beneficial for small and medium business IT type of environments. You likely know Drobo for many of the same reasons that make us good for businesses today. We have award-winning sophistication built into Drobo products, very specifically our Beyond RAID technology, which is Drobo intellectual property, and gives you all of the benefits of RAID without a lot of the same characteristics or limitations of RAID. Allow you to use any disk at any time and allow you to grow your storage infinitely and allow you to do so in a super easy to use way. If you look in the lower right hand corner, if you already own a Drobo, you'd know that the instruction manual is printed on the inside of the front cover of a Drobo, giving you simple traffic lights to manage your Drobo in the case that you are getting full or that you need to make a maintenance action against a hard drive that may have failed or otherwise need to do something to your Drobo. The capacity indicators give you all the information that you need to tell you how Drobo's being used, and being able to give you those capacity indicators is built on Beyond RAID and our data-aware technology that provides really sophisticated storage. Now, we have had many customers who have bought Drobos which were designed for use in professional environments, smaller direct attach and file sharing Drobos, and they've been used in businesses. In fact, we have now over 150,000 customers who have purchased Drobos, and tens of thousands of them have brought these into business environments, not just small office, home office environments, but also the Fortune 500 companies. Some 20% of the Fortune 500 have bought Drobos for some sort of departmental use. So we at Drobo realized that in addition to expanding our innovation around Beyond RAID and the technology that makes the protection of storage easy to use and affordable, that we could continue to expand on that to provide offerings for business customers so that it would be more relevant and more beneficial for small and medium business IT. As we talk about our product line for professionals, these products remain a focus for Drobo, and in fact, you'll see further announcements here in 2011 as we build onto our family of products for professionals, whether it's the original 4-bay Drobo, which is in its second generation and has USB 2.0 and FireWire connectivity, up to the 8-bay Drobo Pro, which is used by creative professionals and even some businesses for direct attached storage. All of these products continue to be a focus for Drobo, and we'll be offering new firmware to bring new features such as support for 3 terabyte drives, which exist on the Drobo S and Drobo FS today, and in calendar Q2 will exist for the Drobo and the Drobo Pro. We'll continue to invest in these products, and you can look for announcements later this year on different innovations that we're making on top of the family of products for professionals. In terms of what's new, though, on this slide number 4, we have announced, as of February 8th, a new family of products from Drobo. And if you do follow Drobo, you'll notice that 2 of them look similar to products that we have carried and will continue to carry, specifically the 8-bay models for file sharing and for SAN. We've also announced a 12-bay SAN storage for business, model B1200i. These products in a family to include the Drobo Elite and Drobo Pro FS make up the Drobo family of products for business and give you a lot of different options for storage in a business environment depending on what your needs are around connectivity, capacity, as well as capabilities, what we call the 3 C's of selecting storage. With the new products in Drobo's family of storage for business, we're offering higher performance, functionality, and in the case of the 12-bay system, higher levels of redundancy as well. These are achieved through a combination of hardware and software enhancements that are going into these products. And the software enhancements, as I'll describe further, are also going to benefit anyone who is a user of Drobo Elite or Drobo Pro FS in the future, as the software that's being developed and extended for the new platforms also provides benefit for the existing platforms, which will continue to be for sale here in 2011. We know, in talking with a lot of customers who have brought Drobo products into their business, that they really want a new management interface that allows them to see all their Drobos at once in more of a true dashboard or single pane of glass view. And I'll show you a slide on that here for the enhanced Drobo dashboard software, which is part of the Drobo family for business. This application will be first available for the business family of products, but then will be made available for download for all Drobo customers shortly thereafter. Another benefit that all customers of Drobo get with the introduction of our business family is extended Drobo Care support that helps businesses operate on a 24/7 basis. This Drobo Care is available for all products, so not just the business products, and it now offers customers to access Drobo live phone support on a 24/7 basis. You would also have the ability to receive replacement Drobo hardware in the event of the need to have replacement hardware, have it shipped the same day as you submitting your case, and for select European Union countries and in the United States, have next day delivery of that replacement hardware. And this is available for our standard warranty as well as the customers of Drobo Care support. And we will give you the expedited shipping if you're not in a country that will allow you to receive the unit in a next day fashion based on customs or other logistics matters. You can know that it's shipping as fast as possible, and you can get all the details by going to our website and reading the Drobo Care terms at drobo.com/support. So that's your news for February 8th. To go a little bit more deeply into the Drobo product line for business, we have now 5 products that are available for business customers to deploy for file sharing or iSCSI SAN needs. The Drobo Pro FS as well as the Drobo Elite continue to be a part of the Drobo product family, and these products have a very similar fit and function to the enhanced versions, which are the 8-bay file sharing storage for business as well as the 8-bay SAN storage for business. So from an interface perspective, number of drives, form factor, and such, as well as a lot of the capabilities, you'll notice that the criteria are very similar between the 2 products on the left and then the newest enhanced versions of those products on the right. For the products Drobo Pro FS and Drobo Elite, there are some special pricing programs in place for customers who want to take advantage of some of these solutions. You get all the same capabilities with Drobo's Beyond RAID and many of the same performance enhancements that are done in software. The latest hardware would be in the form of our Drobo 8-bay file sharing storage for business and Drobo 8-bay SAN storage for business. Sounds like a mouthful, but we've updated our naming to provide more description as to what the product is. So in the case of the 8-bay file sharing storage for business, it's pretty straightforward to understand that the 3 C's of selecting storage, your connectivity, capacity, and capabilities, are all included in the name. In the case of 8 bays for capacity, file sharing for connectivity, and business for business level capabilities. The newest product on the right-hand side is the 12-bay SAN storage for business. We've announced this product. It has a architecture that's fully redundant and offers additional Ethernet ports for more performance as well as resiliency, and is the first Drobo product to offer support for SAS drives as well as future support for solid-state disk. All Drobo products support 3.5-inch SATA drives and allow you to mix and match any of those drives for your needs, and you can continue to have that benefit with Drobo products. Looking a little bit more deeply at the newest products, you'll see that they are all rack mount capable with an optional rack mount kit in the case of the 8-bay systems. The 12-bay system is a full 19-inch rack mountable unit, and it has swappable and redundant power where the 8-bay models have a fixed power supply configuration as well as a fixed controller with 2 gigabit Ethernet ports. These products, like the Drobo Pro FS and the Drobo Elite before them, were built specifically for SMB IT, and they're great for departments and larger organizations that are looking for an affordable, easy-to-use storage solution. They work great in Windows, Linux, and Mac server environments, whether primary or backup storage. And we have tens of thousands of customers already using these business products today to operate IT applications, whether it be VMware, Citrix Zen Server, or Symantec Backup Exec environments where Drobo has certifications, or any IT environment where industry standard file sharing or iSCSI storage can be used by the application. We have thin provisioning, instant expansion, and dual drive redundancy capabilities across all these products, very similar to the benefits that you've known from Drobo products in the past. Let's look a little more deeply now at the specific configurations for these products and talk about where they're best used. In the case of the 8-bay file sharing storage for business, it has integrated offsite backup capabilities with Drobo Sync, and it's a great fit for departments or small companies that are looking to have file sharing up to 100 users. You can have more than 100 users, but for practical purposes, it works best in environments with fewer than 100 users. The network configuration options are either active passive, so you can have one port in standby for availability connected to a single network, or if you're taking advantage of the Drobo Sync for offsite backup, you would have one port connected to your local subnet or network to do the file sharing, and the other port connected to the other network for use in sending the data to your offsite location for the offsite backup solution. Going on to the 8-bay SAN storage for business, it has a similar configuration. It has an additional USB 2.0 port, but this is for setup only. You would use this to initially configure the Drobo 8-bay SAN storage for business, or the B800i model, and then use the gigabit Ethernet ports for the management as well as data traffic on the system. It works great in scenarios where you have a small number of servers, starting as few as 2 and even up to 8 servers in companies and departments less than 200 users. And it has support for server virtualization and disk-based backup, and also works with many IT applications such as Microsoft Exchange. You see the certifications that are listed there, and we have the ability to allow configuration for a single switch where both ports go to the same network, or connect those two ports to different switches or different VLANs to give you a more highly available SAN solution where you have two different paths, and you can use server-side or host-based multipathing, whether MPIO or capabilities built into your server virtualization technology to allow you to load balance across two different network paths for higher availability. The newest product, the 12-bay SAN storage for business, has more things to point out. We have a fan indicator light and a removable, swappable cooling fan module. It sits behind a magnetic back cover, so much like the magnetic front cover where all the drives have been hot swappable across all Drobo products. You can remove the back cover and swap out the cooling fan module in the event that you had need to repair it. Now, there are 8 individual fans in the cooling fan module, and they are set in 2 rows of 4 so that any one single fan failure would not impact the capabilities of the system. Naturally, you would get an alert that there was an issue with your fan module, and then you can schedule a service replacement for that part once it arrives. And there's a service time where you can remove and replace that module while the system is up and running, so it's fully hot swappable. Another swappable but redundant component in the Drobo 12-bay SAN storage for business are the power supplies. And you'll see that we have 2 power supplies here. They are redundant in the sense that they're N+1. You can operate the system fully on just one power supply. And in the event of a failure, you would have continued operations and the ability to add the second power supply back once you received a service replacement. The network ports are also enhanced from the fixed configuration module that we have in our 8-bay systems. There are 3 gigabit Ethernet ports on the 12-bay SAN storage for business controller, as well as a dedicated gigabit Ethernet port for management. So this allows you to have your management workstation on a completely different network than your SAN. And with 3 ports connected to your SAN, you have the ability to load balance across multiple networks, as well as have additional throughput from your servers accessing the storage to the Drobo model B1200i. There is an expander card. You can think of that as a SAS expander, allowing us to have multiple streams of data go to drives inside the system. And the product is fully built for redundancy. The only fixed component other than the metal chassis is a passive midplane on the inside of the system where the drives connect to on one side and the power supply controller connects to on the other side. And we have the system plumbed and built for future model options, which could offer multiple controllers. At the launch, the product will support a single controller configuration, and as a swappable component, you'd be able to receive a service replacement and swap that component out individually in the event of the need to do so without having to replace the entire chassis. So it's designed for redundancy, field replaceable parts, so that you have higher levels of uptime using a system like this. Some additional features we'll talk about when it comes to the B1200i model are support for solid-state disks. I mentioned before that we have support for both SAS and SATA disks in the Model 1200i. You would want to select either a uniform set of SATA disks or a uniform set of SAS disks. You can't mix and match SAS and SATA. You can mix and match sizes, speeds, the firmware, manufacturers, but in terms of technologies, you'll want to have either all SAS or all SATA. In the future, we'll be supporting the ability to put a solid-state disk, or more specifically, at least a pair of them, into a 12-bay SAN storage for business and give you the ability to have some data-aware tiering in the system. Before I describe the data-aware tiering, I'll point out that from a solid-state disk perspective, you can look at this system with SATA drives in a 12 terabyte configuration being about $10,000 with 6 expansion bays available. Adding 2 solid-state disks to that particular configuration will allow you to take advantage of tiering in combination with the high-capacity disk that you have, and give you a great configuration that not only provides good performance for large data transfer type applications like data protection, but also mixed workload type of applications such as email or database. Now, the solid-state disk can be either SATA or SAS versions, either SLC or MLC, but we may not be able to provide support for every solid-state disk that's manufactured, mostly because of the physical packaging. There are 3.5-inch versions, and there are kits that would allow you to take 2.5-inch versions and mount them as 3.5-inch disks. We'll be providing more information coming in Q2 of this year on specifically tested and supported SSD models to give you an idea of which ones will work best in the system. As with all Drobo products, Beyond Rate allows you to mix and match drives, but in the case of solid-state disks, there are some physical packaging concerns that might limit the use of some solid-state disks. Now, why would you want to use the solid state? A lot of it has to do with taking advantage of a breakthrough feature that Drobo has developed called data-aware tiering. Most storage tiering solutions first write data to disk, and they promote hot data to faster pools of storage. And it will require you not only to set up multiple pools of storage, but also configure a lot of policies and do a lot of tuning when it comes to taking advantage of the tiering capabilities. As with all Drobo solutions, we strive to make them as simple as possible. And with Drobo, if you introduce into the B1200i model 2 solid-state disks, we'll automatically recognize those as having a faster level of service than the mechanical disks. And we will treat those as a part of the common storage pool for use in servicing the workloads that need the best response time. So without having to configure anything, you'll have improved performance for your mixed workload applications like Exchange or a SQL Server. We, using our Beyond RAID technology as an extension of our data-aware capabilities, will use data-aware tiering to optimize data layout and drive usage based on the nature of the data. It's all automatic, so for most people who really like to tinker with a lot of settings, they've never really liked Drobo at first because we don't offer a lot of abilities to tune or change a lot of parameters. But over time, those same people love Drobo because we give you all the power and sophistication of those capabilities without having to manage them, which makes this data-aware tiering especially beneficial because it'll allow you to invest in some solid-state disks, introduce them into a model B1200i, and enjoy the enhanced service levels for mixed workload applications without having to manage any of that. The management software that I mentioned before, Drobo Dashboard, it has been improved for business. All Drobo customers will get the ability to use this in a matter of weeks post its availability here in March. Starting in March for our business products on Windows as well as Mac server, the Drobo dashboard will allow you to see the status of all of your Drobos in one console. So in the case of this example, we have 5 Drobos that are in the environment. All 5 of them can be seen in terms of their capacity in that bar across the bottom, as well as their overall status, green, yellow, red, at a glance. And when you click on one of them, it'll give you the actual view of what the system looks like physically with its capacity indicators as well as drive lights. So for businesses who might have Drobos distributed in their environment, or they have them in a closet or in an IT room, not where they're normally sitting, this gives folks in business a better ability to manage multiple Drobos at a glance at the same time. It has the same easy use that you'd expect from the previous Drobo version, which allowed you to drill in and do the management capabilities. All those same things are there. The improvements here are around how you can manage multiple Drobos at the same time. We do have plans to offer Drobo Dashboard for Linux as well, so stay tuned if you're a Linux user and prefer to run Drobo Dashboard on a Linux system versus Mac or Windows, which are available today. On to availability. I mentioned the software will be available for download in March, and the newest 8-bay models in Drobo's family of storage for business will also be available for shipment in March. You can place orders on those products today, and they'll ship in March. For the 12-bay SAN storage for business, it will be made available in Q2 of 2011. And to give you an idea of its relative cost, you can think about a 12 terabyte system with 6 2-terabyte drives and all of the built-in capabilities of Beyond RAID with the redundant architecture of the Model B1200i as being $9,999 US, or around $10,000 US dollars. We expect a lot of customers will want to buy that particular product not fully populated with drives, because they'll have the option of putting in some solid-state disks in the future as we support those later on in 2011. I'm going to really quickly go through a couple of solutions, because it's really how you use Drobo products which make them most interesting. And the Drobo Sync integrated offsite backup capability is built into the Model B800FS. It's free, and it replicates from one local Model B800FS system to your Drobo that's off-site. And it takes literally 5 clicks to set up, and it's perfect as an off-site backup solution for small businesses. If we go to the next slide, we show you a more specific example of this. And using Drobo in this particular type of solution can save you 46% compared to other solutions you might find in the market to accomplish the same off-site backup capabilities. So off-site backup is really the primary use case that someone would look for when they're looking at the 8-bay file sharing storage for business. In the case of the SAN products, we have several use cases around iSCSI storage. VMware is a very popular one, not just to take advantage of server mobility, which you get with Server vMotion, but also in the Essentials Plus kit, the ability to take advantage of the integrated backup with data recovery in VMware. Having multiple SAN storage devices allow you to have a highly available configuration. This is an example of one that's also a cost-saving solution for customers looking to do an iSCSI SAN solution. The same holds true for a Zen server environment, which would allow you to have the ability to take advantage of live migration and high availability with a pooled, shared iSCSI SAN storage. For Exchange 2010, especially with the new concept of database availability groups in Exchange, having iSCSI SAN storage and having multiple servers access that storage really makes for the same uptime benefits of a clustered solution for Exchange without a lot of the complexity. And the cost doesn't have to be high, as you can see here in the example, saving 37% compared to other solutions that might exist there that you would use for an iSCSI SAN. Backup is a technology that people use Drobos for as well, and we give an example of Backup Exec 2010, which Drobo is certified with. Just about any backup solution would work here. And in the case of deduplication, you can use client or media server deduplication to take advantage of those benefits in a disk-to-disk backup scenario. And in the case of Drobo, we can offer for small businesses all those same sophisticated capabilities at a price half that of what it would cost to get the entry-level version of other types of solutions that would be available there. The last slide I'll show you here is the Drobo Demos on Demand. You can go to our website at drobo.com/demos and click on the Demos on Demand link in the right navigation or at the top of the page. It'll take you to 40 minutes of descriptions on how Beyond RAID works and show you some software demonstrations of Drobo Elite, one of the products in Drobo's family of storage solutions for business. It's great information if you want to learn more about Drobo, but as with any case, if you wanted to learn more about Drobo, you could also contact our sales department, sales@drobo.com, or call us at 866-97-DROBO as well to give you information on any Drobo solutions you might have, or we can connect you with a local reseller in your area to talk more about Drobo technology. So with that, we're going to go to the questions, and we have several that are teed up here. We'll get started by talking about Drobo for Business and how it compares with Drobo Elite. And the answer to that question is Drobo Elite will continue to be available as a product from Drobo. It's an 8-bay SAN solution, and the Drobo 8-bay SAN storage for business, the enhanced version of Drobo Elite, has a combination of software and hardware enhancements that make it the latest model in that particular form factor. The Drobo Elite continues to enjoy the software updates that have been innovated on for the latest model of product. So for the 1.1 software release that was released in December, there was improvements in performance and reliability, and there will be even further improvements in performance and reliability with the 2.0 software when it's released later next month. Next question, do you plan on making a model that uses SAS drives with 10 gig Ethernet connections? And it's a great question. Drobo, with our 12-bay SAN storage for business, has a modular architecture. So it's conceivable that we could offer different controller options that have different connectivity on them. For now, our plans are to have gigabit Ethernet as the connectivity for all Drobo models. And as the prices come down on 10 gig switching as well as 10 gig connectivity from servers, we'll be looking at adding 10 gig to our portfolio. So it's a very likely extension of Drobo's product portfolio. We don't have any specific committed dates on when models with 10 gig will be made available, but you can expect that as we refresh products and come out with new products, 10 gig is likely to be featured as a connectivity option for Drobo products. Next question. If I'm on a photo shoot in a studio using a Drobo 4-bay, am I able to swap those 4-bay drives in out and bring them and put them in my 8-bay or 12-bay SAN? And this is a question that has to do with drive pack mobility or drive pack migration. We at Drobo certainly support drive pack migration within the same product model. So you could take drives from one Drobo 4-bay and move it to another Drobo 4-bay. And there are some select migration scenarios for being able to put drives into the next model in the product family. So an example of taking Drobo 4-bay drives and moving them into a Drobo S. There are supported ways of doing that particular migration. But for the Drobo direct attached storage products, we don't have the ability to take a disk pack out of those and put them into the iSCSI SAN products. You could do a Drobo copy, which is a utility built into Drobo dashboard that would allow you to copy data from one Drobo to another Drobo, but you wouldn't have the ability to take the disks out of one, in this case, in a specific example, and put them into a larger one. Next question. Can I use SSD drives with all Drobo products? And the answer is that SSD support, solid state, will be a feature exclusive to the 12-bay SAN storage for business. It will also provide the data-aware tiering capability, which is the reason for choosing to put solid-state disks in. You could conceivably put them into any Drobo system, but to take advantage of their increased performance and the ability to impact service levels, the data-aware tiering feature is something that would allow you to get the benefit from those solid-state disks, and that's going to be specific to the 12-bay SAN storage for business. Next question, any word on Microsoft Data Protection Manager's certification? It's a great question. We are working on getting certified with the Microsoft Hardware Quality Labs or WCL certification. And in that process, we'll be adding support for virtual volumes to allow you to use Drobo with Microsoft Data Protection Manager. As of right now, Microsoft Data Protection Manager requires you to use a virtual volume within Microsoft, and Drobo's best practices don't allow you to virtualize on top of already virtualized disk. So specifically to Microsoft Data Protection Manager, we don't yet support that for Drobo products, but are looking to add the ability to configure for that in a specific way to support that. You can look for that solution coming here around the middle of 2011 here at Drobo. Does Drobo support live snapshotting so we can do a clean backup without Drobo Sync? And I'll answer that in two parts. Drobo Sync is a integrated offsite backup capability built into the file sharing product, or the Drobo 8-bay file sharing storage for business, or the Drobo ProFS product. You can use those or a combination of the two to have an offsite backup solution. And that really, on a scheduled basis, synchronizes files from one location to another location. Snapshotting is often used in block-based storage to take a snapshot of storage and make an offline copy of it so that you can mount it back up in a consistent way. And today, Drobo doesn't provide any integrated snapshot capabilities in any of our SAN products. There are ways to do snapshots using backup software applications, and those, such as Backup Exec 2010, are certified and work well with Drobo, but we do not have integrated snapshot capabilities at this time. Next question, what options might we have to sync offsite to Amazon S3? And it's a question that we often get about cloud service providers in general. For a lot of cloud providers, if they offer you a client that connects to one of your systems, you could have, for example, a Drobo direct attached storage or Drobo storage that appears to be connected to your system over your network, and a client software application could move or keep synchronized that data with the cloud like it would an internal hard drive or any other storage for that matter. We do not yet have any specific applications for loading onto a Drobo that automatically sync the Drobo directly to a cloud service provider, but you can expect to see more innovations and announcements around that type of capability from Drobo later on this year. We've had some discussions in the past with customers about using Oxygen Cloud, which is a cloud technology, and they've had some early betas of an application that run on Drobo's file sharing products, but we don't yet have an announced date on when that particular optional application for Drobo file sharing products will be made available for download in a generally available fashion. Next question. Can you tell me some about how to prevent a Drobo from failure? And I think that all Drobos have built into them inherent protection from failures, in the sense that you have multiple disks that protect you from a hard drive failure, the most common failure that would result in data loss. With the exception of the 12-bay SAN storage for business, the newest product from Drobo, all Drobo products have a fixed controller and fixed power supply configuration. So those systems, if there was a hardware failure in those elements, would not have a continuous uptime type of solution. You can mitigate from some power loss by using an uninterruptible power supply or a UPS. And you can, in the case of Drobo's products that offer multiple Ethernet ports, like the 8-bay SAN storage or the 8-bay file storage for business, you can connect those to multiple switches to mitigate from a switch failure or some sort of networking issue connecting to the Drobo. In general, we always recommend that even though your Drobo is protected storage with Beyond RAID technology, that you use a software backup strategy to back up the data that's on your Drobo, not just to protect from a disaster, but also to provide you file version backup, so that if you have a corrupted file on your Drobo storage, that you have the ability to go back to a previous version. The integrated offsite backup capability with Drobo Sync for the file sharing products is a great way to get data offsite. But in general, RAID and protected storage is just the first part of a strategy for having a protected storage solution. The solutions that I showed you around business applications all can support using multiple networks. And in the case of software like the data recovery built into the VMware Essentials Plus kit, you can use that to distribute data across multiple Drobos that would make it easier to start that back up and recover from a failure if you had a hardware failure there. Next question, just to confirm, are HBAs needed to access Drobo, or more specifically, no HBAs are needed, correct? And the answer is yes. You do not need a specialty iSCSI adapter to connect to Drobo iSCSI storage. You can utilize inbox software or a software that's provided with Drobo to connect to iSCSI storage using your gigabit Ethernet connection that you have on your system. No iSCSI TCP offload engines or iSCSI HBAs are required at all to access Drobo. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and stop the questions at this time. If you have additional questions, you can hit us on Twitter at Drobo, or send us a question as well at tv@drobo.com. We thank you very much for joining today, and we look forward to you having great success with Drobo products in your business environment. While we have a small box, we provide a big storage experience, and we look forward to helping you with your SMB IT needs. Until next time, happy sharing.